Hello! Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Welcome back to our new episode here in Doctor's Death. Malapit na naman na, parang last episode na to ng Doctor's Death for January. Tama?
Yes, for the
Yes.
month of January. Yep.
Yes, in fairness. This is Doc P from your Ahabay Atensios.
Babati muna ako. I'm Doc Suzette from my low carb MD. Akala ko magbabakil, mawawala kasi parang biglang nawala yung signal.
Buti na lang. Buti na lang at hindi. Pero salamat po sa mga nandito na nanonood ulit ng Doctor's Desk live. At sa mga hindi po makakapanood ng live tonight, huwag po kayong mag-alala kasi you can always have the chance to watch our replay po sa
Mm-mm.
ating Facebook page. And I don't know, Doc, hindi ko pa na-check ulit yung YouTube kung
It's
nakakapag-post ka din
updated.
doon ng,
Uh,
wow, it's updated.
Uploaded na. Yeah, it's
Yes,
updated. So,
uploaded.
yung dalawang previous episode, it's uploaded already. Yung metabolic,
Mhm.
how metabolic healthy are you? Uploaded na siya. Plus yung Q&A, it's uploaded. So, yung mga hindi
Yes.
nakapanood ng last two episodes, it's already uploaded in our YouTube page.
Yes. So, ang tanging bagay lang na of course hindi nyo magagawa if you are watching from our YouTube channel is to participate in our live episodes because every live
Mhm.
episodes are posted lang dito sa Facebook because we cannot simultaneously show it na or stream it on both na platforms. So, yun
Mm-mm.
po yung limitation natin. But sabi ko nga, despite all of our limitation, we will still keep on going and keep on streaming for everyone. Kasi marami pa rin. Ako nare-receive din ng mga patient ngayon who keep on telling me na, "Doc, napapanood ko kayo sa Doctor's Desk and marami akong natututunan." So, nakakatuwa po kasi yun yung mga comment na alam mo yun yung mga simple na bagay, Doc, na parang it will keep you on
Mhm.
on streaming pa
Yes,
rin at
oo.
saka magturo online. So, as you can see, we have pinned some of our messages and comments here. So, as you all know, guys, na kami po, Doctor's Desk is actually not monetizing right now. Hindi po kami nakakapag-monetize ng page namin. And one of the reasons why we also ditched na the subscription in StreamYard kasi it's kind of pricey as well. So, we're using na uh, free app. So, the StreamYard na free version. So, if you wanted to help us as well,
Mm-mm.
not only with our streaming but also with our subscription, dito at dito rin po yan mapupunta. You can always donate po para dito po siya magkaroon ng proceeds. So, right now, we have a good topic again to share with you. And our topic for tonight is the most
Mhm.
common na na-encounter namin sa aming clinical practice. Hindi na po ako kumakain ng rice. Matatawag na ba ito na low carbohydrate diet? So, yes, ito ang
Mhm.
pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi and this is a good conversation na also maganda pong topic ito for us to introduce again what a low carbohydrate diet is. So it's kind of a review. I remember way back when we started with our doctor's desk, most of our topic um, naka-focus siya sa mga diseases and pahapyaw na laging ipinapasok natin doon yung low carbohydrate diet. Although we started with our topic sa proper human diet, we really never had like a lecture that focuses only on a low carbohydrate or therapeutic carbohydrate restriction. So this is a good way to start na magkaroon ng review or even revisit what a low carbohydrate practice is. So, I tasked myself. Hindi I was tasked eh. I
Oo,
tasked myself.
correct.
Sasabihin ko sana eh, no? I was tasked.
Mm.
I tasked myself
Oo,
to
correct.
to begin with this topic and or ma-discuss lang ulit sa inyo 'to. May mga iba na tayong request. Don't worry guys na nababasa namin yung mga comments ninyo and we will also try to consider some of your comments regarding sa mga future na topics na pwede nating i-discuss. And thank you so much
Mm.
for commenting kung ano yung mga future topic na pwede nating i-discuss. So as I discuss our topic tonight, keep on typing on your comments below kasi pwede namin tong mabasa so we can consider kung meron kayong mga gustong ipa-discuss for future na topic. So, tonight, let us go back to this question. Hindi na po ako kumakain ng rice. Matatawag na ba ito na low carbohydrate diet? So, paalala po ulit, itong disclaimer natin, no? Ang layunin po ng programa na to, ng aming stream, ay magbigay lamang ng edukasyong pangkalusugan. So, here in our platform, we do not diagnose your disease. Hindi po kami sisiyasat ng kung ano ang condition ninyo or medical condition ninyo. Hindi din po kami nagbibigay ng management or hindi po kami nagbibigay ng lunas. Kailangan nyo pa rin pong dumaan sa tamang eksaminasyon para matukoy kung ano ho yung totoo na medical conditions ninyo at para sa ganun din ay mabigyan kayo ng sapat na impormasyon kung ano yung pwede ninyong gawin at magabayan kayo ng maigi sa tama po na lunas or management and other changes that you should do in order for you to manage your condition. So let's go back to this statement na I'm pretty sure na pati si Doc Suzette ay na experience ito or na-encounter sa kanyang practice. So, may mga pasyente na ganito ang usual na narrative. Doc, kaya ko na po hindi magkanin. Actually,
Mm.
matagal na po akong walang rice. Pero, di ko pa din po maiwasan ang bread at pasta. And most of these patients, dumadating po sa amin sa clinic because they claim that low carbohydrate diet hindi daw nagwo-work pa sa kanila ng maigi at hindi pa nila nararanasan or nakikita yung magandang resulta. So usually, nagpapakonsulta sila kasi bakit daw hindi pa nila nararanasan yung resulta or hindi nila nakukuha yung expected result na gusto nila. But this is the usual narrative. Kaya ko na po hindi magkanin. Ang problema ko po, actually, Dok, natanggal ko na yung kanin eh. Pero, may pero, di ko pa din po maiwasan ang bread at ang pasta. So, dito tayo papasok. Sapat na ba na ikaw ay nagtanggal lang ng rice para matawag ang iyong diet na low carbohydrate diet? Even if you are still eating some of this food, might be bread, might be pasta, might be some kakanin, or even other people would say, naiiwasan ko na po ang kanin pero meron pa rin po akong ibang naiinom gaya na lang ng 3-in-1 coffee at may iba pang bread. So, papasok tayo dyan. So, this is a good way to reintroduce low carbohydrate diet again para sa ating mga manonood. So, ano nga ba kasi talaga ang low carbohydrate diet? Low carbohydrate diet ay hindi lamang po low rice diet or pagbabawas lang ng kanin or no rice diet na matatawag. Ang low carbohydrate diet actually ay isang strategy o isang estratehiya or isang tool, a dietary tool, which is based po ito sa understanding ng human physiology o proseso sa loob ng katawan ng isang tao, including ng biochemistry natin. Meaning, itong diet na to, base po siya sa pangunawa na kung saan ang pagkain ay hindi lamang po nagbibigay ng sustansya at enerhiya sa katawan, kundi bawat pagkain na kinakain natin ay maaaring magbigay ng senyales. It could give us a signal, it could even be a messenger o tagapaghatid ng impormasyon and can even trigger hormonal regulation and can affect processes inside our body. So they could be drivers of different processes in our body. And so there is this thing called low carbohydrate diet because we are following yung isa sa mga proseso na kung saan na i-explain natin mamaya. So alam niyo po, mga mga followers na nanonood ngayon, mga viewers namin, carbohydrate is actually neither good nor bad. When we are talking about low carbohydrate diet, some people are accusing us na mga doktor at mga educators ng low carbohydrate that we are indeed vilifying, kumbaga sinasabi natin na masama ang carbohydrate. In fact, carbohydrate is neither good nor bad. At bakit ko po nasabi yon? Kasi basically, wala namang gagawin sana ang carbohydrate sa katawan nating masama kung at kailan siya nagiging masama. Bad outcome from carbohydrate is due to these factors. If you are someone with excessive consumption of carbohydrate, this could give a bad outcome to your body. But you must understand, bakit ka ba unang-una sa lahat nagkakaroon ng excessive na consumption o mataas na konsumo ng carbohydrate? Kasalanan mo ba? So, you need to understand as well na out of all the macronutrients, carbohydrate, protein, and fat, when it comes to energy source, ang carbohydrate kasi is not an efficient source of energy. If you compare the carbohydrate to fats and protein, carbohydrate can just ramp up your energy for about 2 to 3 hours. And the reason why you're consuming it on a parang higher amount is because, and also not just higher amount, but also more frequent than most other macronutrient is because it can only energize you for up to 2 to 3 hours. And after that time, ikaw po ay mawawalan na ng energy, especially if hindi ka marunong gumamit ng ibang source, which is fat. At kung dependent ka lang sa carbohydrate, after 2 to 3 hours, gutom ka na ulit. And you would like to consume a carbohydrate-rich food again to energize you dahil yan lang ang alam ng katawan mo gamitin. Because you have been dependent to sugar only as a source of energy. At the same time, one of the main reasons kung bakit din mataas ang consumption mo ng carbohydrate is due to its addictive property. Meaning, if you've been consuming a lot of carbohydrate, which in turn becomes sugar inside your body, this could trigger your pleasure center, and at the same time, it could also trigger your addictive tendency. So when you become addicted to it and dependent to it, you will have an excessive consumption. And this excessive consumption is the reason why carbohydrate is now giving us a bad outcome and diseases inside our body. Another thing na kailangan yung maintindihan, nagkakaroon ng bad outcome ang carbohydrate depending also on the insulin response of our body. Meaning to say, iba't ibang katawan, iba't ibang klase ng response. Ibig sabihin, may iba na kaunting carbs lang, hindi na yon kayang iproseso ng katawan. At kahit kaunting carbohydrate lang, nagtitrigger na agad yon ng mataas na konsentrasyon ng insulin just because genetically, we are also different in our response to carbohydrate, including the type of carbohydrate and the amount of carbohydrate is really different. So carbohydrate is neither good nor bad, but we have to understand that there is still a limit on how much we should be taking carbohydrate because unang-una, hindi naman din talaga siya essential. And pangalawa, we are reacting and responding differently to carbohydrate depending on our genetic makeup and depending din sa pagkonsumo ng katawan at paggamit niya dito as energy based on our hormones. So ano po ba ang goal ng low carbohydrate diet? Kung titignan natin, ito ang goal ng low carb diet. Ang goal ng low carb diet is to make sure that we have stable insulin concentration and control. Because what makes us sick from carbohydrate is its effect on our insulin regulation. Meaning to say, yung low carbohydrate diet, nauunawaan niya na isa sa pinaka-trigger ng pagtaas ng insulin concentration sa ating katawan ay ang asukal. So every time na tumataas ang blood sugar natin, tumataas din ang concentration ng insulin sa katawan in response to the blood sugar. And our body is not supposed to be exposed to insulin or high insulin for a long period of time. Dapat pulse lang yan. Ibig sabihin ng pulse control, ibig sabihin nun, hindi siya dapat laging nasa taas. Dapat siya po ay bumababa din. Kung gaano kabilis siya tumataas, dapat mabilis din siyang bumababa. Kasi dapat lumalabas lang yan in order to help us control and stabilize the blood sugar. So, ang goal ng low carbohydrate diet is to stabilize the insulin concentration dahil nauunawaan din ng low carbohydrate diet practitioners na ang insulin kapag mataas po ang konsentrasyon sa ating katawan at kung lagi din siyang mataas in a long or chronic period of time, it could actually make us develop diseases dahil hindi po pwede na nalulunod yung katawan natin sa insulin. Yung ating cells, pwede magkaroon ng resistance, hindi na siya makikinig sa insulin. We could build fat because insulin will actually drive our body to store fat, and at the same time, since it is a building hormone, pwede niyang pakapalin ang ating mga ugat at pwede din na magkaroon ng pamamaga because of inflammation sa iba't iba pa nating organs. The goal of low carbohydrate diet is also to lower down inflammatory processes and oxidation. So, sa ibang tao, naglo-low carb lang sila for their insulin control, but what they do not know is one of the goals of low carbohydrate diet is also to lower down inflammatory processes and oxidation. Kaya nagmamatter po sa amin na hindi lamang po tayo umiiwas sa starchy carbohydrate because nowadays, what we observe sa mga practitioners, even to influencers and most influencers, is that hindi na nagkakaroon ng emphasis that a person must practice not only low carbohydrate diet but a clean low carbohydrate diet because your goal in low carb is not only to regulate your blood sugar but also to lower down inflammation. And so dito na uso yung sinasabi natin dati na avoid crap. And crap is starchy carbs, refined foods, artificial ingredients, and processed food. So let's say for example, you are eating low carbohydrate diet, tinanggal mo lang or binabaan mo yung carb consumption mo or carbohydrate consumption, pero yung mga ingredients mo naman na ginagamit mo, accepted when it comes to carb content, pero pangit naman na klase, artificial ingredients, processed or ultra-processed, and also may halong mga toxic oils and refined oils, then na-attain mo lang yung isang goal, mapababang blood sugar mo. Nagwe-weight loss ka, yes. Pero hindi mo nilo-lower down yung inflammation at inflammatory processes and oxidation. So, this one is actually from the handbook that which we are giving to some of our patients. So, sa consultation or nagpapa-check up sa amin, we hand them over a handbook and this is also part of that. So dito pinapakita natin na yung mataas na konsumo ng carbohydrate, nagpapataas siya ng level ng asukal sa sirkulasyon o sa ating dugo. At dahil sa mataas na taas ng asukal natin, napapataas din yung level ng insulin. And ito yung tinatawag natin na hyperinsulinemia, kung saan mataas na po yung insulin level or concentration sa dugo. At ang hyperinsulinemia is also inflammatory. At the same time, it drives us to store fat, kaya tayo tumataba. But at the same time, if our body is exposed to a high level of insulin, there will come a time that we become insulin resistant, meaning to say, dahil na burnout na yung katawan natin sa kakapakinig sa insulin, napagod na rin siya, it will shut its doors, and at the same time, hindi na siya makikinig ngayon doon sa driving force ng insulin. So, hindi na siya magpapapasok ng asukal, leading to a more blood sugar or higher blood sugar again in the circulation. And gusto ko na makita ninyo yung illustration na 'to, because insulin resistance is not only part of pathology ng diabetes. Kasi ang insulin resistance, tinitignan lang natin siya as part of diabetes. But what if makita nyo lahat ito, na ang lahat pala ng mga sakit na nandito, na nakikita nyo ngayon, ay nag-uugat lamang sa iisa, kundi yun lang ay insulin resistance. So if you have type 2 diabetes, concomitant type 1, eventually, maybe this is a severe type already. You have cancer, it's already part of metabolic disease. Kapag meron kang coronary artery disease, meron kang hypertension, may pangangapal ka ng ugat, ang iyong pagtaba, ang pagtaas mo ng cholesterol, especially your triglyceride, yung pagkakaroon mo ng fatty liver, yung pagkakaroon mo ng PCOS, Alzheimer's, pagkasira ng iyong nerves kaya nagkakaroon ka ng pamamanhid, pagkabulag, pagkakaroon ng sira sa kidney, sa mata, erectile dysfunction, and so on and so forth. Iisa lang pala yung root cause nila, and that is also insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is also part of inflammation. So kung meron ka ng sensitivity to toxins from the food, dagdagan mo pa ng insulin resistance, mas lalong tumataas yung oxidative processes, and also mas lalong tumataas yung inflammatory processes sa katawan natin. So ngayon, ang tanong, sapat na ba na magbawas ka ng rice? Babalikan natin yung goal. Ang goal natin ay magkaroon ng stable insulin concentration and control. So dapat mapababa mo yung blood sugar mo at mapababa mo ang inflammatory processes at oxidation mo. Ngayon, ibabalik ko sa inyo yung tanong. Sapat na ba na nagbawas ka lang ng rice para matawag na low carb ang diet mo? At sapat na ba na nagbawas ka lang ng rice para ma-achieve mo yung goal ng low carb diet? Ngayon, may ipapakita ko sa inyo na picture. Ang low carbohydrate diet is actually limiting your carb intake in order for you to have a blood sugar control. But blood sugar control also depends on how severe or gaano kalala ang iyong karamdaman, ang iyong sakit, especially your insulin resistance. But low carbohydrate diet has different level as well. Pero in traditional kasi, they define low carb as less than 130 grams. But on therapeutic carbohydrate, we define it as below 100, below 50, and below 20. So kung bibigyan tayo ng pagkakataon na, for example, we just want to test low carb in our body and how it affects and it's going to improve our metabolic diseases, some of us may wanna try it on a 100 grams of carbs level. So kahit ganun pa kataas, gusto ko na i-compare ninyo kung gaano kadami lang yung pwede ninyong kainin in comparison to your usual everyday diet. 50 grams of carbs is equivalent to 1 cup of rice. Let's say, I just wanna test low carbohydrate diet. Big sabihin, testing the water. Hindi ko pa kaya mag-commit, pero dun muna ako sa liberal amount. Gusto ko lang makita how it will gonna improve my health or how it will gonna help me control my blood sugar. And 100 grams of carbs is only equivalent to 2 cups of rice in a day. How much rice are you trying to eat? Now, let's say you are avoiding that cup of rice. Pero sabi mo kanina, hindi ka na nagkakanin, pero hindi mo pa rin maiwasan ang bread at ang pasta. So, ang 50 grams of carbs pala ng bread ay 4 slices ng bread or 6 na piraso ng pandesal. At ang 50 grams of carbs din ay 150 grams ng pasta or bihon or sotanghon. So let's say, for example, you're trying to lower down your blood sugar because you are very diabetic. Hindi ka na nag-rice, pero nakakakain ka ng 4 na slice ng bread sa umaga at kumakain ka pa ng 300 grams na pasta sa hapon. So you are still consuming about 150 grams of carbs in a day, despite of not eating 1 cup of rice or 2 cups of rice. So, ang balik ko ng tanong sa inyo, sapat na ba na hindi ka lang kumakain ng rice para masabi mo na naglo-low carb ka? Because carbohydrate is not only found sa rice. Lahat ng gawa sa all-purpose flour ay matatawag pa rin nating starchy carbohydrate. So, dito po, kaya ko po 'to pinresent sa inyo because I want you to understand the equivalence of a 50 grams ng carbohydrate. So, if you are on a real low carbohydrate diet, not ketogenic pang pinag-uusapan dito ha, but low carb lang. We are limiting our patient on a 50 grams carbohydrate a day. Meaning to say, you can only eat about 1 cup of rice in a day. Pero dapat make sure that you don't have any other hidden sugar. Meaning to say, if you're going to eat 1 cup of rice, are you sure walang marinade ang mga kinakain nyo na karne? Are you sure that you're not going to take other food that may have a hidden sugar na content on it? Because if that's the case, then you are going to overthrow again yourself into more carbohydrate at the end of the day. So kapag meron din kaming pasyente na nagsasabi, Dok, isang rice lang naman ako. Kasi sabi mo 50 grams, allowed pa ako eh. So nag-iisang rice ako, half rice sa umaga, half rice sa gabi. Pero ano ang ulam mo? Ano po eh, tocino. Tocino na hindi low carb or samgyup na may mga sauce or kumain po kasi kami sa labas and you are not sure about the ingredients of the food. So, since you are parang kinukuha mo yung pinaka-maximum ng carbs mo, hindi mo inaakala na sumusobra ka pa sa 50 grams. So, you're already out of that moderate low carb level or yung pinaka-low carb na ginagawa natin, which is 50 grams and below. So, ibig sabihin nun, you must understand that just limiting or avoiding your rice is not enough. You must also be familiarized of other sources of carbohydrate. Kasi hindi lang po tayo nagbabawas ng rice. We are actually trying to lower down all the sources of starchy carbohydrate in general. Might it be from your bread, might it be from your pasta, could be from your sweet potato or even your potato, or from your saba, which is favorite ng lahat. Some of the people na nagda-diet, hindi nagre-rice. Hindi na po ako nagre-rice, Dok. Pero naglalaga po ako ng saba araw-araw. So, ang ipinalit ko po sa rice ko, every meal ay saba. Not knowing na 2 piraso ng saba is already 50 grams of carbs. So, if you're eating 2 piraso ng saba every meal, then you're still eating 150 grams of carbs in a day. So, sapat na ba? Matatawag na ba na low carbohydrate ang inyong ginagawa kung kayo ay nagbabawas na at nagbabawas lang ng rice, pero kumakain pa rin kayo ng bread, ng pasta, ng patatas, sweet potato, at lahat ng mga kamag-anak ng mga pagkain na nandito sa aking ipinapakita ngayon, and even saba at iba pang mga prutas? No, you're not. That is still not a low carbohydrate diet. So if you're wondering why your diet is not working for you, either nag-stall ka sa weight mo, Or if you're wondering why it is not helping you to regulate your blood sugar, bakit hindi pa rin ah, bumababa ang inyong blood sugar? Maybe the culprit is because you do not understand really kung ano ang low carbohydrate diet and you are not familiar pa sa mga carbohydrate na rich foods na kung saan nagpapataas ng inyong blood sugar. So, ganun lang kasimple ang topic natin tonight. And the answer to the question, like I said, hindi po sapat na nagbawas ka lang ng kanin at matatawag na po yan na low carbohydrate diet. Again, you must be familiar about other sources of glucose or other carbohydrate sources that may spike your blood sugar. And kailangan din alam ninyo talaga kung ano ba ang sense ng low carbohydrate diet, its definition and its goal for you to be able to understand paano din siya isinasagawa ng maayos. Alright? So, thank you so much for listening and thank you so much for tawag dito, for being with us tonight sa mga nanonood. So, sana po marami kayong natutunan. And si Doc Suzette, if you have other insights and other additional information for our patient na nandito ngayon.
Wala na, uwi na tayo. Joke.
Ah,
So, ganito.
Pwede na.
Basically, the word kasi na low carb, so meron niyang origin. So, di ba meron tayong tinatawag na dietary requirement na established by the government agency na siyang nagte-take charge with the health ng mga tao. So they define the dapat ang kinakain natin based on the 3 macronutrients. So dapat ang kinakain natin is 40 to 50% ng carbohydrates, tapos 30% of proteins, and then 20 to 30% of fat. That's the standard dietary requirement na sinet nila. Okay, based on this, Fee, can you put this slide? Based on this food pyramid. So kung
Saan
titignan
po?
ninyo, refresh natin etong slide na to.
Wait lang. Add the stage.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, stage na. Ayan. So lahat naman tayo, I believe, na pinag-aralan to. So, sino bang hindi nakakakilala sa food pyramid? So, basically, yung base layer, ayan yung mga sources natin ng carbohydrates, pati yung second layer, fruits and vegetables, they're also sources of carbohydrates. Tapos itong base, ayan yung eat most, tsaka eat more. So, dyan yung naging basis because of the dietary requirement na sinet sa atin, 40 to 50 grams, ito yung dapat daw natin kinakain ng mas marami. And then yung proteins, and you eat moderately, yung eto na naman si moderately. So for the proteins, we should eat, sabi is 30%. And then yung fat, yung nandun sa topmost, ang sabi is very limited, 20 to 30% lang. So kung kakain ka ng 40 to 50, sabihin natin 50% ng carbs, dapat ang kakainin mo lang is 30% ng proteins, and then ang natitira na lang sa fats is 20%. Hindi pa doon dinetalye kung ano yung fat na kailangan mong kainin. Kasi 'di ba, alam natin na meron tayong mga natural sources ng fat at meron din namang mga trans fats or yung mga process na hindi natin dapat kinakain, na iniiwasan natin. But unfortunately, most of the fats na available sa market, they are processed and they are trans fat. Sirang fat na yung pinapakain sa atin, and we are taught na dapat ang kinakain nating protina na supposed to be is 30%, kaso mas bumababa pa. Kasi because of the myth na sinasabi nila na bawal kumain ng karne, nakakasira ng kidney. So, ang natitira na lang kung pagbabawalan tayo ng fat at ng proteins, yung base na lang na makapal. Naiwan na lang sa atin yung fruits and vegetables plus grains and cereals, which is yan yung tinuturo sa atin, di ba? Idagdag mo pa yung mas level up na ginawa nila or mas updated daw na Pinggang Pinoy. Pero going back to our lecture kanina, kapag sinabi kasing low carb, dapat low carb pa lang ha, wala pa yung therapeutic with hindi pa na-meet yung goal na pag-stabilize ng insulin concentration and control, tapos hindi pa yung pagbaba ng inflammatory processes, wala pa yung goal na yon. But basically, yung 40 to 50% ng carbs, ibababa mo lang siya ng 26%. That's already low carb. Pero yung low carb ba na yon would be enough? Yung 26% ba ng carbohydrates na yun would be enough na maging stable yung ating insulin concentration and control, especially for those people na meron ng problem with their metabolic health, kung meron ng problema with the insulin resistance, lalo na kung meron ng hypertension, may diabetes and all. So, pwedeng hindi pa. Then that's the time na pumapasok ngayon yung mas stricto pang definition ng low carb. So, since sinabi ni Fig kanina, enough ba na walang rice? So kung titignan niyo yung picture natin ng pyramid natin, yung baseline hindi lang naman rice, 'di ba? Yung mga sources ng carbs natin. What if hindi ka kumakain ng rice but you're still eating bread, you're still eating prutas kasi 'di ba sabi, kumain ng prutas at kumain ng gulay at sinabing okay lang din daw ang brown bread. So definitely you will not fall. So kung papansinin niyo yung iba na kahit na naglo-low carb na sila, by their own definition, hindi pa rin nag-i-improve yung ibang mga medical conditions. Kumbaga kasi na-scratch nyo lang yung surface. You have the symptoms of the transition, pero hindi enough. Kasi kaya naman kayo nagkaroon ng symptoms of the transition kasi nga, yung baseline ninyo na pagkain ng carbs, sabihin natin, sinusundan ninyo yung 40 to 50 grams. 40, diba? What if lumalagpas pala talaga kayo na let's say you are consuming 300 grams to 400 grams of carbs. Kasi ibababa na siya kahit na sabihin natin 200 eh. Definitely may reaction from the body at makakaramdam kayo ng symptoms. So, iniisip ng karamihan na once they have the symptoms, looks likely low carb ako or possible na nakakito ako. So ganun yung mga scenario na nangyayari. Kaya usually kapag sa clinic, when the patient approach, sasabihin nila na, Doc, matagal na po akong hindi nagkakain ng rice for the X number of months, then we will go with the diet review. So kapag ka diet review, malalaman mo na marami pa pala siyang hindi kinakain, or marami pa pala siyang carbohydrates na kinakain, na ini-intake. And then kapag nakita mo yung labs, then may mga parameters na nag-improve, although mayroon pa rin mga ibang parameters na hindi nag-improve. So, doon pumapasok yung sinasabi natin na hindi lang rice ang pinagkukunan ng carbs. Kasi remember, even the vegetables, kahit na dahon-dahon yan, they still have vegetables. They still have carbohydrates. So, hindi talaga zero. Especially if you are doing, kahit na ketogenic diet, it's not zero. Even the carnivore diet, kung yun ang gagawin niyo, hindi pa rin zero talaga yung carbs. Hindi pa rin siya. So, ito yung definition natin ng carbohydrates. So, ngayon, from one person to one person, nagva-vary. But the study shows na ang ginagamit kasi sa study, dapat kasi, di ba, pagka gumagawa ng paper or review, randomized control trial, may specific na number of carbohydrates para yung naset na parameters or yung inclusion criteria sa mga study is pare-parehas doon sa participant. So, they set doon sa mga studies na it should be, usually ginagamit nila is less than 30 grams. May mga studies that they are using less than 50 grams of carbohydrates. So, doon yun nag-originate kung saan nila nakita na mas nag-benefit yung patient. Is it above that, 130 grams, or below the 50 or the 30? Kung ganoon mas strict yung carbohydrates. And then, this falls back again to the idea na hindi lang naman kasi carbs ang issue, but how is the response of our body or the insulin response na binibigay ng katawan natin? Kasi remember, insulin is a master hormone. So, kapag may ginawa tayo na nag-react si insulin, hormone insulin, yung ibang mga hormones natin, they will react. Okay? So that's the reason then kung bakit initially the CICO or the calories in calories out model nagre-respond ang mga tao kasi hindi kagad initially parang na-scratch mo lang yung surface eh. So you try to manipulate the calorie intake. So there is the weight loss, I agree. Pwede kang mag-lose ng weight, pwedeng maganda yung physique, pero magiging sustainable ba? Kasi the reason is yung interplay ng hormones. So ganun din yung basically principle ng low carb diet. So ang gusto niyang itakal talaga is the insulin response. And ngayon, kung meron ka ng insulin resistance, masyado nang mataas yung insulin resistance sa carbs or mataas na insulin resistance mo sa katawan mo to the point na you have the diabetes, yung mga sinabing sakit doon sa outside ng doon sa outside ng circle. Then, bago mo uli mapababa yung insulin resistance mo or bago ka uli maging insulin sensitive, it may take time para maging responsive ka uli sa insulin. It may take a lower value of carb intake para mas mapahinga uli or para mas hindi na uli mag-response yung insulin, mas bumaba na siya, mas magpahinga yung pancreas and all. So, definitely, removing rice may be not enough. Especially depending on your kung saang level na yung metabolic health. Okay? So, Fee,
Actually,
na?
Doc, diba? Yeah. You see me now? Nakabalik na ba ako?
Yes, you are here.
Yeah. So, usually, kaya ito din yung laging tanong ng mga tao. Usually, pag start at bibigyan sila. So, gaano kadaming carbs lang ba yung pwede sa akin? And we usually answer them this way. Depende kung gaano kagrabe yung insulin resistance mo, gaano din kahirap sa katawan mo na magproseso ng carbohydrates. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, it is an individualized approach. I have a patient na sabi nga niya, nakikinig po ako sa doctor's desk, but the reason why gusto ko magpa-consult is because iba pa rin kasi, Doc, if yung management is actually para sa akin talaga. Kasi naririnig mo minsan yung explanation ng labs or explanation about labs, but iba pag in-explain na sa'yo yung bawat laboratorio mo ng naka-relate din or clinically related to your own assessment na ikaw talaga yung tao na yon. So that is really the good thing of of having a one-on-one na assessment and consultation. So basically as a physician, we must identify gaano kagrabe yung insulin resistance ng isang tao because your carb requirement and even the limit should always be based on your individual condition. Gaano kagrabe yung insulin resistance mo. Like for example, we have patient na sa sobrang insulin resistant niya, and may insulin response din siya to a point na kahit sweet taste lang, there will be a rise in the insulin secretion or lalabas ang pasyente ng insulin kahit na matamis pa lang yung lasa at hindi pa talaga nako-convert yung lasa na yon to a real carbohydrate or a real sugar in the blood kasi hindi pa nakakarating sa sikmura, hindi pa nakakarating din kahit sa bituka. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pa na-absorb ng katawan but the brain already identified na it might be a threat. Kasi nalasahan pa lang ng bibig, para bang very vigilant na yung katawan and nagre-release na siya agad and it is already spiking the insulin concentration ng isang tao. If you're that type of person, imagine even an onion, kahit sibuyas can actually increase your blood sugar. So, meron kaming pasyente, the first time that we parang encountered na parang we thought it's just starchy carbs, pero may pasyente kami na parang the only thing that is messing up with the blood sugar control is talong. So we started parang collecting like mga patient na okay, tuwing merong mga food recall na may eggplant, some of them really still have like a sugar response or spike of blood sugar. Until such time na meron na rin kaming dumadating na patient na even sa sibuyas, they can still have like a spike in blood sugar. So it's very diverse. So ibig sabihin, dumadating kami sa point na the advice of how much carb can be consumed by a person is actually not set by a physician. It is actually set depending on the observation of the response of the patient to the given na carb intake. Let's say, for example, kami ng dietitian will give you a 20 grams limit of of carbohydrate. But in return, we will still need you to measure your blood sugar. Pagka binalik mo sa amin yung monitoring and record mo and we can see spikes, we will review some of the foods para ma-identify if we need to lower it down or even choose what type of carbs can you consume. So meaning to say, even on one consultation alone, even us as low carb practicing physicians will not be able to really identify agad-agad the limit of your carbs or even what type of carbohydrate can you process or tolerate because your body will give us the answer. Kayo at ang katawan nyo ang makakapagbigay sa amin ng tunay na sagot dahil yung katawan nyo, bawat isa ay magbibigay din ng iba't ibang reaksyon sa bawat mga pagkain. And so that is the time that you will also observe. We cannot really outsmart our body, ika nga eh. Kaya kapag may mga nagtatanong sa akin na pasyente, lagi kong sinasabi sa kanila, I can suggest you this, pero we will see. Meaning to say, yung katawan mo pa rin ang magtuturo sa atin at magga-guide sa atin kung ano ang para sa kanya at the end of the day. Because as a physician, what I can only do is, based on theories that I know, this could be the good starting point. Di ba ganun lang tayo? Baseline. Big sabihin, I think sa sobrang taas ng blood sugar mo, a 30 gram might be a good starting point if you cannot lower it down to ketogenic level. Pero if you observe that a 30 gram can still spike your blood sugar, then your body will give us the answer. Hindi ka pwede sa 30 grams. You need lower. Wala na tayong magagawa dyan because it is your body already decided. Katawan mo na mismo ang nagsasabi, it's not enough. There should be more na limit para sa katawan mo. And ngayon, yung decision na ngayon will rely on your body response. At doon tayo papasok. So, ito yung mga kailangan nyo na maunawaan, the reason why there is a diversity in the practice of low carb, even with choices of the food, because we have different response when it comes to carbohydrate, different tolerance, different din yung ating severity when it comes to our insulin response and resistance, sensitivity, and also different din kasi tayo ng mga kayang i-tolerate na mga plants. So, doon nagkakaroon ng pagkakaiba-iba. But definitely, just taking off the rice is not enough for you to say that you are already on a low carbohydrate diet if you are still consuming the counterpart. Hindi sapat yon. Kasi ang ginagawa ng iba minsan, tatanggalin yung isang carb, pero papalitan din ng carb. When you take off the carb, dapat ibang sources na ang ilagay ninyo. Palitan nyo siya ng protein and fat. Pero definitely, hindi nyo siya pwedeng tanggalin yung carb, tanggalin yung rice, pero ang isa-substitute nyo naman is same carbohydrate as the rice. Okay? Also, I want you to understand that all rice are different, whether it is color red, color brown, or white. All of these have the same carbohydrate content. 1 cup of white rice is still 50 grams, same as the 1 cup of brown rice and 1 cup of red rice. Some people are telling na mataas kasing fiber content. So sometimes you will parang minus the net ng carb na makukuha sa fiber. But it's just the same. The rise in the blood sugar that it will give you is just the same. Kahit pa sabihin niyo na
Actually,
glycemic index will matter.
yeah, that I was about to say yan, yung the glycemic
Mm.
index,
Even
sinasabi nila yan. So,
yes, even if sabihin mo na this one has lower glycemic index, it will just not lessen, but papatagalin niya lang yung pagtaas ng blood sugar mo, but it will still raise your blood sugar.
actually, sinasabi by theory, glycemic index dapat papatagalin yung pag-spike, mag-sustain. So,
Yes.
Snapshot. Sa Philippines kasi we are used of eating jasmine rice, di ba? So, dito sa Middle East, we are used of eating basmati rice. And we know ang basmati rice is mababa yung glycemic index nila.
Yes.
So, being exposed sa mga tao na mga may diabetes na kumakain ng basmati rice, and dito kasi yung mga pasyente namin dito, they are very obedient on giving blood sugar levels before meal and 2 hours after meal. So, pagka nag-request namin na 3 days, susunod yan. They giving us a profile of 3 days ng before and after food. So, makikita mo, they are used of eating rice dito once lang sa lunch. And minsan may may edad na kumakain din ng rice sa gabi pero bihira. But more on rice sila sa lunch. Pero you can see the spike is still there. So, yes, sabi nga sa definition ng glycemic index, hindi nga kaagad daw tataas. Pero based on the readings na nakikita ko, hindi ganoon yung scenario. It's still going up. And kahit na may medications, it's still going up. Tapos, based dun sa goals, yung sinabi mo na kung gaano ba kadami, don't compare yourself doon sa kapitbahay nyo na naglo-low carb din. Kasi ang nangyayari, iba po yung kanilang metabolic health level sa katawan ninyo. So, maybe baka yung kapitbahay ninyo, hindi naman po talaga sila ganoon ka metabolic dysfunctional, yung kanilang metabolic health. So, they can tolerate a higher amount of carbohydrates. Pero ikaw, hindi. Pwede rin na yung kapitbahay mo is yung choices of food niya is iba rin sa choices of food mo. So, it matters din. So, pwede rin physically active yung kapitbahay mo, ikaw, hindi ka physically active. So, it matters pa din. So, yun yung mga kailangan mong tignan. Isa pa sa nakikita ko diyan is gaano ka addicted sa food. Meron kasing malaking factor kasi yung food addiction na hindi na idadagdag doon sa mga factors kasi okay, sige, sabihin natin isang slice lang yung kinain mo. You've been religiously doing low carbohydrate or kahit ketogenic diet pa for X number of months. Pero dahil may isang event na nayaya ka, kumain ka ng, let's say, isang slice lang ng cake, but unfortunately, that one slice of cake, nagising yung addiction mo with the sweet food. So what happens, yung isang slice ng cake na yon, na ulit kinabukasan, then sumunod uli, then hindi mo na matanggal. But yung kapitbahay mo, kumain siya ng isang slice din ng cake, but hindi na niya hinahanap. There was no addiction na na-trigger. So, the following day, okay na siya uli. Nakabalik na siya into the practice of doing the low carbohydrate diet or the ketogenic diet. So it is also a factor kung gaano ka addicted on the food. Ay hindi mo, yan yung mga tao na nagsasabi na mamamatay ako pagka walang tinapay or mamamatay ako pagka walang rice. May mga ganyang dialogue which is maririnig mo talaga sa patient mismo when you are inside the clinic. Even dito, even sa mga patients ko dito, hindi nila matanggal or hilap silang matanggal ang kanin sa simula, makikipag-bargain. Tatanungin pa niyan, Dok, anong mas okay? Tanggalin ang rice or tanggalin ang bread? May ganun pang bargain na tawaran portion na nangyayari. Well, in fact, kung titignan mo, as long as the food na kinakain nila is nag-elicit ng insulin response at magpapataas ng carbohydrates, hindi pa rin enough yung pag-lessen nila ng ng carbohydrate intake nila.
Yes. Tsaka marami na ako na-try, Doc. Hindi na lang ako ngayon nagbe-base sa theories, hindi na lang din ako nagbe-base lang sa mga ano. I really wanted to experience this. I know for sure that you know how much I abuse myself with studies and experimentation as my own guinea pig. My experience with glycemic index is that higher glycemic index can really spike my blood sugar very fast, pero mas mabilis din kung insulin sensitive ka na, mas mabilis din siya na bumaba. Like let's say for example, within an hour, it will really spike up so high, but will also uh, bababa din siya ng within 2 hours and sometimes even lower. So doon mo makikita yung paghahabol ng insulin in order to catch up with the rise in blood sugar. Kaya nagkakaroon ng period of hypoglycemia in some patients na very hyperinsulinemic. But if you, for example, eat something that is mas, ang glycemic index niya, mas mababa, the rise in blood sugar is kind of reassuring for the first hour and 2 hours. But the rise in your blood sugar could sustain like 3 hours, tumataas pa rin ng tumataas. Ang tanong, hindi ba tataas? Tataas pa rin. Mas mabagal ang pagtaas niya. Pero, in comparison with my high glycemic index food, they have the same level ng pagtaas. Ang masaklap pa niyan, those na nasa low glycemic index are even mas matagal din na bumaba in comparison to my high glycemic index. I also tried clothing my carb as being endorsed and recommended by other educator who says that you should clothe your carbohydrate with protein and fat first before the carbs in order for you to make sure that you will not spike your blood sugar. You know what happened to my blood sugar? It still went up after how many hours? So it's kind of reassuring if you are just someone na magche-check lang ako after an hour. Oo nga, hindi pala talaga siya ganun kataas. In comparison to a high glycemic index. But have you tried to also measure your blood sugar on the second hour, third hour, and the fourth hour? You'll be surprised. Because you know what? Hindi lang siya tumaas agad. Even if you clothe it with protein and fat. But eventually, you will also observe that it will have an effect on the third and fourth hour at even in the fifth hour, hindi pa siya agad bababa. Sometimes it will take you about 3 to 4 hours to lower it down. And one of the main things also that you need to understand, sometimes its effect is on the other day. When you already store that carbohydrate as glycogen, when you wake up in the morning, you will also experience a high fasting blood sugar because that is the only time that your body will access the glycogen store from your liver. And bi-breakdown niya yon, and that is the reason why during the morning after, yung effect pa lang ng pagkain ninyo kagabi ng mataas na carb ay doon pa lang din nagmamanifest on the next day. So be careful with how you eat, but at the same time, that is the reason why I want everyone to have glucometer as part of their own experimentation, but also as parang commodity in a low-carb community. Para sa ganon, makita mismo nila yung effect sa kanilang katawan. Because if you really want to help yourself and be someone who is also part of the treatment and part of the team, kung part ka ng team sa treatment mo, dapat alam mo nangyayari sa katawan mo. Sabi nga natin, Bridget, wala ding effect ang clothing sa akin. Kahit makulay na damit pa yan ang ibalot ninyo sa inyong mga starch. I'm telling you, test it yourself and you will see. Test it yourself and you will see. Okay? So, that will be our episode for tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and tuning in. To those who are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe then sa maybe ano ba sa YouTube, subscribe and follow or whatever. Sa
Subscribe
ating YouTube
and
channel. Like and subscribe. Yeah, dito is
Mhm.
like and follow. So basically, hindi lang kayo makakasama sa aming live stream, pero you can still watch replay dito sa Facebook and also on the YouTube channel. So maraming salamat po. Sana marami
Help
po
us
kayong
po.
natutunan. Yes, help us po.
Help
Like
us po
I
na
said,
masama nyo kami sa YouTube.
So also guys, I should not forget as well, if you also want to avail our consultation services, we have here the My Low Carb MD. If you want to reach out to Doc Suzette for online consultation, you can contact her or message her or inquire sa My Low Carb MD. This is her Facebook page. We only parang accept and entertain inquiries in our pages. May mga nagtatanong na may iba bang way or meron bang ibang platform? Sa akin personally wala din. It's only through FB page Messenger kasi that's the only account that I can tawag dito regulate. I cannot regulate other accounts anymore. So um hindi ko na kaya na may Viber, hindi ko na kaya na may iba pa. So, we can only accept inquiries through our Facebook pages. So, this is the Facebook page of Dr. Suzette. And this is also my Facebook page for consultation. It is AHA by Attentions. And to remind you as well, we only conduct consultation through Zoom. No other application or no other mga video platforms aside from Zoom. So only Zoom. Okay, so that's it guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Magandang gabi po. Magandang araw, magandang tanghali po kung nasan man kayong bahagi ng mundo. Salamat sa pakikinig at sa uulitin po. Magkita-kita po tayong muli next week for our question and answer. Bye!
Bye-bye.